So, good morning. Today I'm going to talk about sustained yield. In this lecture, I'll be explaining to you what is sustained yield in the context of forest management. We'll, I will explain the conditions that has to be maintained to achieve sustained yield in forestry. Then we will see the different dimensions of sustained yield and the other possibilities. Then we can see what is sustainability, and from sustainability to finally sustainable forest management. So these are the topics that I'm going to discuss or explain to you in today's lecture. Now, before explaining what is sustained yield, I want you to focus on this two terms called yield. And in the context of forestry, everyone knows what is an yield. Basically, we'll be talking about in the context of, rather, I will say, in the context of production forestry, where timber production is the major object of management. That means the production of timber is our priority. Then, when we say yield, we are talking about timber or wood that can be harvested. So, in terms of production forestry, the issue is how you can maintain the production of timber when you have a forest stand. What is a forest stand? Forest stand is a stand of trees. And in plantation, the plantation is a very good example of a monoculture crop, that is an even-aged plantation. So in that context, timber production is a priority, and producing the yield, that is timber, and that too in a sustained manner. That is, sustained means in a continuous manner, how you can produce timber, that is an important priority. So here a forest stand, as you know, when we raise a forest stand, it continues to grow, and we believe that there is an ideal condition and it continues to grow and puts on a steady amount of timber is there. Okay. And after some point of time, that point of time is called the rotation, that I will be describing in the later classes. It's called rotation. That is at the period that when you start the plantation and when it mature, that is ready to be harvested, that is called the rotation. So throughout that, it puts on growth in the form of timber, and finally at some point of time, that point of time, you know about you have studied about your CAI and MAI curves and all. Okay. And when you reach that particular point called rotation, you are going to harvest. So balancing this growth as well as balancing this cut. So if you can balance that without, then that balancing means you are not going to endanger the ability of the forest stand to grow continuously. So that is the biggest challenge as far as the forester is concerned. Allowing the forest to put on the increment, that is timber in this particular case, and again trying to harvest the timber and maintaining this continuum, that is the growth as well as taking away the amount of timber that is to be harvested. So that is how you can actually sustain the yield from your production forest, that is in this case this plantation. Okay. Now, let me try to explain the concept of a sustained yield in a different perspective. So I'm taking you directly to sustained yield. All of you might have already studied and by this time understood what is a normal forest. In forestry, the concept of normal forest is always applied to a regular forest. What is a regular forest? Regular forest is an even age forest. That is, a plantation is a classical example of a normal forest. And in a normal forest, normally see three conditions. So that means there should be three conditions for a normal forest. And in forestry terminology, it is known as the trinity of norms. We say trinity of norms. That means there are three norms to be satisfied for a forest to be known as a normal forest. One is normal increment. So a normal forest should first have a normal increment, a normal series of age gradation should be there, and a normal growing stock. So these three are known as the trinity of norms in forest. I'll explain this in this picture over here, and you can see that this is an example of a forest and plantation starting from first year, and the rotation period is 100. So that means this forest is going to be there for 100 years. That's an even age plantation. So in a normal forest, if this is a normal forest, in the first year this will be putting on a particular increment that is represented by this square over here. Okay, and in the second year you can see two squares over here, and likewise in the third we expect the forest to put in three increments. Likewise by the 100th year it will be putting on 100 increments. So hypothetically we can describe it like that. So every year the big message is every year equal amount of increment is being put by the this forest, so that by the end of the rotation period we will have a steady increment or a steady volume of timber which can be predicted. So that is always an ideal condition. People say it is a hypothetical condition because we know that in forestry and all, this is the trees are plants, and is the growing conditions vary, and it has got a lot big gestation period. That means the plants will be there for a lot many years, and there will be a lot of things that is happening. So ideally every year you are not it will not be able to put on the ideal increment. But this is basically the dream of every forest manager. When you become a forest manager in production forestry, you have to create conditions to the forest to produce increments like this. So traditionally, this has been the dream of every production forester. Okay. So this that is why it has been said it has been with the backbone of forest management ever since forests were brought under scientific management. So the concept of normal forest and sustained uh, yield are both linked, and this is again in the context of production forestry, where the main object of management is production of timber. Now this is another example or another definition of sustained yield. You can read the yield of timber or other forest produced from a forest which is managed in a way as to permit the removal of approximately equal volume of quantity of timber or other forest produce. That is what I explained in the previous slide, annually or in perpetuity. Annually, periodically, or in perpetuity. So that is the condition that has to be maintained to achieve the sustained yield. Then intermittent yield is something a little bit different. So here there is a steady growing condition, and at the end of the production period you are growing. But in intermittent, the word intermittent means in between. The material or cash return obtained from time to time from a forest not organized for continuous production. So in a irregular forest, what your objective is continuous production. So there will be several areas of different planting ages. You have visited the forest and you have seen maybe 2000 plantation. That means it was in 2000 that the plantation was established. Maybe you have seen a 1960 plantation, 1961 plantation. Like every year planting activity was there. So we have a plantation of different ages. But here intermittent yield, the material or cash return obtained from time to time from a forest, that is called intermittent. Maybe you can say that thinning a thinning is an example of an intermittent yield from a forest plantation as obtained as opposed to sustained yield. This I have already explained the concept of what is the behind the scene concept of sustained yield. Because the later generations may derive from the forest at least as much of the benefit as the present generation. So it's a continuous, as I said, we have several aged plantations are there. So every year we can supply timber like this. So that was the main aim of production forestry, organized forestry in the sense that they are talking about the production forestry. The principles of sustained yield envisages that a forest should be so exploited that the annual or periodic fellings do not exceed the annual or periodic growth as the case may be. You just see that picture which I explained, just recollect that. Then these things are you can understand in uh, in a much better way. As opposed to sustained yield, there is another concept called progressive yield. Here, in sustained yield, we expect the plantation to experience uninterrupted growth conditions and all, so that every year or every periodically we will be that the forest will be putting on a steady increment. But we know that that is a hypothetical situation. So that has been largely, there are a school of thought, a different set of foresters came up with another philosophy called the progressive yield, wherein they intervened during the growth period of a plantation. Uh, we make changes to the soil, or we interfere with in the plantation and remove all the failing individuals, that is the those trees or the seedlings which have fallen back on growth and all. So we create more better conditions. We can even put what to say, manures to the soil, something like that will which will increase the productivity or improve the growing condition of the forest. And so that we our yields are upscaled or upgraded. That means we get better yield, and in a we are not waiting for that final period, and we will be getting improved yield. So that is the concept of progressive yield. Here in principle you can understand that better. Production of maximum quantity of the kind of produce on the soil in the shortest possible time. So that deliberate interventions are being done to improve the productivity of the soil, productivity of the plantation plants, like that. Okay. So what are the advantages of sustained yield? Said it is the one of the core philosophies of forest management. It facilitates budgeting and regulation of taxation, ensures a steady income to the state. So in plantation forestry, you have noticed while visiting the various plantations and all, as I already mentioned, there are several plantations are there, like of different ages. So everywhere there is a possibility of harvesting one particular plantation, so that the state gets the timber. Timber is, you can say it is solid gold. That means we can make money out of that. So there is a steady state income is there. Then different age plantations means people will be always employed. There are a lot of people who are directly working inside the plantation, starting from planting operation, standing operation, harvesting, loading operation, transport of timber. Then we have several industries connected with these timber producers, and all these are connected. And so that the staff employed is fully and permanently engaged. The staff in the sense that the forest KFD staff, again, you have to monitor a lot of several activities. You have to engage people. Then contractors, you can just think about the different contractors who are involved in supplying labor, transporting timber. Okay. and it facilitates continuous supply of raw materials to the industry. Sawmills are there, uh, furniture making units are there, paper industries are there. So there are a lot of active people who are dependent on the timber as an important industrial resource. So market can be developed and confidence. So when there is a continuous, always timber supply and production is there, then there will be a steady market for this timber, and uh, we can maintain that market also. People, when there is a steady supply, people involved in this market also has got a lot of confidence there in this particular forest, very important forest produce. Now that is all with regard to the concept of sustained yield. As I said, please note that it is connected with production forestry. The main object of management is production of timber. Now we are going to move from sustained yield to sustainable forest management, and sustained yield, production forestry, sustainable forest management is connected with conservation forestry. And you remember we have the latest forest policy in 1988, and you might also be knowing that we made a paradigm shift from production forestry to conservation forestry in 1988 through our new national forest policy. So that means we have a new philosophy that governs forest management of late. So we'll try to understand that shift from sustained yield to sustainable forest management. Now, before trying to understand what is sustainable forest management, we I am introducing the term called sustainability. Okay. Now, this is a very important point. You should not confuse sustainability with sustained yield. So, sustainability is one thing, sustained yield is another thing. Now, this is a very famous personality. Her name is Gro Harlem Brundtland, and she was the former Norwegian Prime Minister who is credited with authoring the Brundtland Commission report. So it was in 1983 that this commission was set up by the United Nations. Okay. So first, in the first place, what is the reason for setting up a commission? The commission was set up to find a way to harmonize ecology with prosperity. Oh, harmonize ecology with prosperity. So let me tell you the background of this. Because in the 1960s and 1970s, the world was going through a lot of developmental activities, new highways, new buildings, everything. So environment was not at all a consideration in these developmental activities. In fact, environment, vegetation, everything, wildlife, everything was compromised largely in large scales during the 1960s, 1970s and all. So by that time in 1983, everybody realized that we need to put brakes on these kind of economic development. So that is why this commission was appointment to find way to harmonize ecology with prosperity. We want prosperity, we need development, but we need to also understand the importance of ecology. So it was in that background she was asked to do. And by 1987, she came with the report. It is known as the Brundtland Commission report. But this is this is the name of the book called Our Common Future. Okay, it is available in the internet. I will suggest you to please Google and download this very important document and have a good look at this report. So, in this Our Common Future report, the Brundtland has defined sustainable development for the first time. So she and her team has defined it as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own need. So that was the kind of definition that she gave to sustainable development. And uh, we are talking about sustainability. So what is sustainability? Sustainability is a holistic. Holistic means fully encompassing. It is covering everything. That is the literary meaning of holistic. So it is a holistic approach that considers ecological, social, and economic consideration or dimensions, recognizing that all must be considered together to find lasting prosperity. So if you want lasting prosperity to happen, you should take along with you ecology, social aspects, as well as economic dimension. So please note that in the case of sustained yield, we are just bothered about economic consideration. Okay, but in sustainable forest management, we are taking all these three. There is economics, there is ecology, and there is socio-economic considerations also. People are also more important. That is why I said when we move from sustained yield to sustainable forest management, we should understand what is sustainability, because we shouldn't confuse sustained yield with sustainability. Okay. Now, sustainable forest management can be defined as dynamic and evolving concept which aims to maintain and enhance the economic, social, and environmental values of all types of forests for the benefit of present and future generation. So, dynamic, it's still a dynamic and evolving concept which aims to maintain and enhance the economic, social, and environmental values of all types of forests for the benefit of present and future generation. So it is because we understood that forests and trees, so these are the important things connected with forest management, isn't it? When sustainably managed, make vital contributions both to people and the planet. That is the important realization. By bolstering livelihoods, so when you manage the forests and trees in a sustainable way, you are also creating opportunities for forest dependent people, people which are directly involved as well as indirectly involved, to have better livelihoods. And the forest will also provide clean air and water also. Okay, so clean air, you know about the ability of trees and large woody vegetation to provide clean air and water. Our rivers are coming from originating deep inside the forest and all. And our forest, we know that it is a big gene pool reserve. So there is a lot of species diversity, genetic diversity, everything is there. And climate change now is a reality, and we know that the dangerous gases that we and our activities are producing has is being swallowed up by the forest. That is why we say that forests, tropical forests especially, are a big carbon sink. So that is the importance of sustainably managing the forest. Now let us talk about the criteria and indicators, two important things connected with sustainable forest management, because our claims of sustainably managing the forest has to be checked and verified by a third party. So I cannot just say that my forests are being sustainably managed. So the international community has done a lot of homework on how to verify the claims that a forest is sustainably managed. So they have come up with criteria as well as indicators. These are actual tools to define, guide, and monitor and assess progress towards sustainable forest management in a given context. So let me explain what is a criteria and what is an indicator. So criteria is the essential elements against which sustainability is assessed with due consideration paid to the productive and protective and social role of the forest and forest ecosystem. Each criterion relates to a key element of sustainability and may be described as by one or more indicators. So from criteria, indicators are being developed. So indicators are parameters which can be measured and correspond to a particular criteria. They measure and help monitor the status. That is the important. Monitor the status and changes in forests in quantitative, qualitative, and descriptive terms that reflects forest values as seen by those who defined each criteria. So criteria are linked to indicators, that is very important. Okay. So let me explain criteria. So you are studying forest management. So are you studying it well? Okay. So are you understanding the concept? So I want to check whether you are doing good. So I will say that I will um, assess your improvement or understanding of this particular subject. So that is one thing called criteria. Okay. Assess checking your knowledge. So um, checking your knowledge is a criteria. Then uh, how to know whether you have good knowledge about this? So what is the indicator for knowledge? One indicator for knowledge will be a written examination or a quiz examination, or I can do a Viva OC examination. So knowledge is a criteria for checking whether you are doing good in your subject, and uh, checking that criteria can be done through several indicator. One indicator is a written examination. Another indicator would be a Viva OC examination. Okay. So in the case of forest, I'm saying that forest is sustainably managed. Then it should have good timber harvesting operations, and our forest should be having, or rather, I should be practicing sustainable timber harvesting operation. I should be having a good biological diversity. I should be practicing social welfare because I have a lot of employees working with me, helping me in managing my forest. So these are the criteria. Suppose as an example, I'm saying that these are the three criteria for timber harvesting operation. My criteria would be reduced impact logging practices. So I cannot do a haphazard job in harvesting my timber, isn't it? So what should I be doing? What am I expected to do? I will have to practice logging without affecting the other vegetation around. Suppose I am harvesting a big tree, I have to make sure that it is not falling to the ground and disturbing the other vegetation. So, as far as possible, minimum disturbance. So, if I am practicing that, I am my indicator is good. My criteria, I am taking good care of my criteria as far as timber operations are concerned. Likewise, biological diversity. My forest should be having good biological diversity. How can a person assess that? Simply by doing a species richness study, and if my values are out of the study are good, below a particular or beyond a particular threshold value, then I can confidently say that my forest is being sustainably managed. Likewise, social welfare. I'm employing a lot of people, but imagine if I'm harassing those people, I'm not paying them, I'm underpaying them, I'm not giving them amenities. It is not possible because I have to obey the laws of the land. So I will say that in my scheme of things, I am obeying the laws of the land. I am giving every amenities, and my employees are taken well care of. Then it is good. So economic conditions are being met, ecological conditions are being met, and also social conditions are being met. So I believe you understood what is a criteria and indicator in forest management. Now, globally, there are seven globally agreed thematic elements as basic criteria for sustainable forest management. So these are the things: extent of forest resources, forest biological diversity, forest health and vitality, productive functions of the forest, protective functions of the forest, socio-economic functions of the forest, legal and policy and institutional framework. Legal and policy means every sustainably managed forest should be worked on the basis of a national forest policy, and there should be good forest laws available. So these are some of the criteria and the conditions as well for the sustainable management of forest, or rather sustainable forest management. Now, the International Tropical Timber Organization in the late 1980s has come up with criteria and indicators. In fact, they are the pioneers. They started this well, and they have come up with for the tropical forests. Likewise, we know that there are several forest ecosystems. Tropical forests are there, temperate forests are there, boreal forests are there, plantation forests are there. So you can expect several bodies to come up with several criteria and indicators. So this is an example for that. You can see the Montreal process, which is for temperate and boreal forests. They have 7 criteria and 67 indicators. Likewise, the Helsinki process has got 6 criteria and 35 indicators for European forests. And ITTO for the tropical forests, they have 7 criteria and 25 indicators. So this is an evolving field. There are a lot of agencies still there and coming up with improved criteria and indicators. In our case, in India also, we have the Bhopal India process, and it has been put forth by the Indian Institute of Forest Management in Bhopal. So we have the 8 criteria and 43 indicators, which are applicable to Indian forest situations also. So sustainable forest management is still an evolving concept. Basically, our forests right now are also managed in line with the philosophy of sustainability and philosophy of sustainable forest management. So that is all I wanted to uh, explain to you in today's class. We started off with trying to understand what is sustained yield management, which is actually a dream in the context of production forestry. But of late, as since we have moved from production forestry to conservation forestry, after we coming up with the 1988 forest policy, we have moved to practicing the concept of sustainability in forest management. So that was the gist of today's class. Thanks for listening. Study well. Thank you once again.